Alright, what's up, everyone? Welcome to another edition of The Danny Show. I'm your host, Daniel Cody, and this is where I give commentary and reviews on all things wrestling. Thank you guys so much for joining. Let's get started with my talk on tonight's episode of Friday Night Smackdown, which some rumored was taped. I don't know, but it still was a bit interesting because there was a couple of things that I did not see coming at all. Let's get started with the steel cage match between Drew McIntyre and Sami Zayn. First and foremost, let's start with the cage match. Um, it is finally time for Sami Zayn to stop running away from Drew McIntyre, and tonight he was finally forced to fight Drew. He hesitated to get into the cage, but obviously Drew McIntyre pulled him in, shut the door like Undertaker, and fought through. Now, Sami Zayn surprisingly did come up with some competitive moves, sunset flipping the Scottish Warrior and taking control for just a little bit. But then Sami Zayn got his when he went flying from wall to wall of the cage before taking the Claymore kick for the victory by Drew McIntyre. And this was after Drew went for an amazing superplex from the top of the cage down below. I'm going to be honest, it wasn't one of the most epic cage matches I've seen. However, it was still fun to watch. It wasn't the most epic, but it was still fun to watch. In our latest news, we also have Donkey Corbin, as I like to call him. He came tonight with Happy Talk, and his Happy Talk guest was none other than a trophy. A trophy. A trophy as your special guest host. Wow. So, obviously, Happy Corbin took the trophy that Magic Mike Moss won, and he took it in an attempt to destroy it. What Corbin did not know is that Magic Mike despised himself as one of the janitors, and I have it on good word that Madcap Moss borrowed that sledgehammer from Triple H with one condition: give it back to the game. But either way, Madcap Moss disguised himself as a janitor and was about to take the hammer to Baron Corbin. Of course, Baron ran after taking a few punches, and they're going to face off at WrestleMania Backlash, obviously, but it was still pretty entertaining to watch. Madcap Moss is becoming a bit of a babyface. Now, when I first started making fun of Magic Mike, I didn't think I was going to enjoy him as a babyface, but I really am enjoying him as a babyface so far. Also, tonight we saw Ricochet in action against Shanky, one of Jinder Mahal's former protege. Well, he's still a protege of Jinder Mahal. Veer is obviously on Raw, becoming a lion and just totally destroying everyone lately. But either way, Shanky is nothing like Veer because they're building Veer up to be a monster heel. But Shanky somewhat controlled most of the match between him and Ricochet, which means we didn't get to see anything high flying wise from Ricochet tonight. However, despite interference from Jinder and the control of Shanky, Ricochet was able to come through and get the victory via roll up. Everyone's favorite move, obviously. But I gotta ask you guys a quick question, real quick. Who do you think is the best shooting star deliverer? Now, last week we saw Ricochet do a shooting star press when I expected him to do a 630, which is an elevated version of the 450 splash. However, he went for the shooting star, and it made me ask a quick question. Who do you think did it better, Ricochet or Evan Bourne? Now, we saw Brock Lesnar do it at WrestleMania 19, but he hurt his neck in the process, and so that was the last time we ever saw Brock Lesnar do a shooting star, and I'm betting that we'll never see Brock Lesnar do it again. However, it was fun while it lasted. But who did it better, Evan Bourne or Ricochet? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Either way, moving forward, Raquel Rodriguez, obviously her last name is changed because I thought it was an accident that Kayla said a couple of weeks ago, Raquel Gonzalez over Rodriguez. They got the names changed. However, what was funny, someone posted, I forgot to tell you this, someone posted an Instagram picture of Raquel standing in the middle of Los Mathorios. I hope that I said that correct this time. And let's just say it was a couple of pictures of, I can't tell who was holding themselves like they got punched downstairs, and another one looked somewhere else. And then they had another picture of Raquel being a giant while holding both those two in her hands, saying, "Come in closer, I'll kick your butts." And they were both in her hands, scared. That was hilarious. Either way, tonight we saw Raquel Rodriguez, obviously, because WWE has to change names every time someone leaves NXT. I don't get it. But either way, Raquel had a match tonight against a jobber by the name of Kat, who came out looking like a Mortal Kombat character and was finished quickly. Finisher. Fatality. But either way, the match was very short lived when, even though the jobber was very competitive, Raquel showed her strength off, went for the finisher, and to be honest with you, I thought she was going to do that little pinfall that Rhea Ripley and a lot of female wrestlers have a strong habit of doing, because lately we've been seeing a lot of provocative pinfalls. And to be honest with you, I thought she was going to do one of those pinfalls like she did at NXT Stand and Deliver in Dallas, her last night as an NXT competitor, Raquel. Oh, one more thing. Please, y'all, please tell me, because I saw a live pic, and sometimes people do this for clickbait. Please tell me y'all did not release Dakota Kai. Please, 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 please. If I hear that Dakota Kai was released, I am going to react like The Undertaker when he got drafted to Monday Night Raw in 2002. Y'all remember what happened. But either way, moving forward, tonight we were supposed to have a contract signing between the Usos and Bro, Matt Riddle, and Randy Orton. Obviously, the contract signing went wrong when Matt Riddle said he couldn't tell which twin was which. The other half, the other third, is on NXT, Solo Sequoia, who wants to make a name for himself single-handedly without having a faction. However, tonight I was supposed to see a contract signing, a tag team one. But because Randy Orton helped Riddle identify the twins, which is very easy now, it's easy to, just like it's easy to identify the Bella twins. Now it is. But either way, Randy Orton helped Riddle identify the twins. Jay, obviously short-haired, right-hand man, and Jimmy is Roman's biscuit. I don't swear much, so I like to say funny substitutes, alternative words. So Randy identifies Jimmy Uso as Roman's biscuit, and a fight ensues, and Roman Reigns comes out and assists in the attack of RK Bro, and shockingly, Drew McIntyre came out to assist Randy Orton and Riddle, because Randy Orton and Drew buried the hatchet. By the way, Drew and Randy Orton had some great matches during the Thunderdome era. Either way, they assisted the match, and for the first time in a while, I agree with Paul Heyman, and WWE officials made it permanent that at WrestleMania Backlash, it will be Roman Reigns with the Usos versus Drew McIntyre, Randy Orton, and Matt Riddle. This reminds me so much of Backlash 2003, where you had Triple H, Ric Flair, and Chris Jericho facing off against a returning Kevin Nash, Shawn Michaels, and Booker T. That 6-man tag was awesome. Matter of fact, I got Peacock. When I'm done with this, I'm gonna go watch Backlash 2003 because seeing this made me think all about that match right there. So after this, I'm watching Backlash '03. Either way, moving forward. And by the way, ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't seen it, be sure to check out Young Rock because Rock made a bit of an interesting statement. He included a young Roman on a clip on an episode of Young Rock with Roman saying he wants to wrestle The Rock and hinted that we may see those two make it at WrestleMania of next year. Because, like The Rock said, the world's not ready for that. A match this big can only happen at WrestleMania. That's a big hint. But I don't want to get my hopes up too much because then I might get disappointed. But I really hope to see that match. That would be literally one of those once in a lifetimes, like seeing it in The Rock as we thought it would be at WrestleMania 28. So I really hope that happens. But nonetheless, we're going to get a 6-man tag. We won't have a unification match, which is also good news because that means we can prolong certain things for the next pay per view, which is Hell in a Cell. Because after WrestleMania Backlash, we'll be gearing up for Hell in a Cell, which means we might get to see Drew McIntyre and Roman Reigns in the cell. And that's also good news because I want to see this. Edge is very has gone into this real dark character which was inspired by The Undertaker. And so I would really love to see Edge inside Hell in a Cell with this character. Who knows? We may see Edge versus AJ Styles. Settlement rivalry match. That's going to be good. If that happens, Hell in a Cell will be perfect for me. But either way, moving forward in a SmackDown short match, we have Naomi versus Shayna Baszler. And it was a SmackDown short, as I like to call it, but it was a bit of a storytelling at the end because we had Naomi, who eventually, once again, the rolled up Shayna Baszler for the victory. Natalya attacked Sasha and put her in the sharpshooter, which I don't think I saw Sasha tap out. But either way, while that was going on, Shayna did this thing that she used to do in NXT, which is where she would hold the opponent's arm and then stomp on it. And she did that again. And I remember thinking, yep, there goes the monster Shayna that everyone feared back in the day. And back in the day was only 3 years ago. Either way, moving forward to that, SmackDown Championships will be defended in 2 weeks. Sasha and Naomi versus Natty and Shayna. And Natalya is very busy. She's making good partners. She got Shayna on SmackDown and she got Lash. I ain't even gonna do that. Lash Legend on NXT, fighting off against the Lion Girl, who is very flexible, and the skateboarding Core Jake. Tonight we also saw Xavier Woods face off against Ridge Holland. Oh, if you have any information involving the disappearance of Butch, aka Pete Dunne, you are asked to call 1-800-578-26. I'm just making numbers up. I'm just messing with you guys. But either way, Butch, aka Pete Dunne, is still missing, and I like him better as Pete Dunne. That's just my personal opinion, and I had a fit when he was changed into something else. But either way, in a short match tonight, by the way, first of all, I have no idea what THOT stands for. I really don't. You see how innocent I am? Woods called Sheamus a man T-word. I have no idea what that stands for. I heard it stand for something inappropriate, but I have no idea. I kid you not. I have no idea what that stands for. And of course, I'm a nerd. Either way, Woods versus Ridge Holland happened, and Ridge took a apron DDT early, tornado DDT that I love to see Woods deliver. After Ridge controlled the match for just a little bit, we got a roll-up pin, and Ridge had a fit. Sheamus Shaky Sheamus, or Shake It Sheamus, challenges Kofi, in which he eventually defeats Kofi via Bro Kick, and Ridge Holland gets revenge, putting King Woods through a table. But with that being said, let's get to the last part at hand, shall we? Tonight was a beat the clock challenge. But it was a beat the clock, I quit challenge. And I saw some things that I did not expect to see. First off, in 1 minute and 41 seconds, Ronda Rousey made Shotzi Blackheart say I quit with the ankle lock instead of the armbar. In other words, Ronda is not a one-trick pony. However, Charlotte did not have such luck. She was set to go off against Aaliyah, and not to be confused with Vegas' favorite singer, but God rest her soul. But either way, Charlotte went one-on-one with SmackDown's new star Aaliyah, and they faced off, and she was supposed to beat 1 minute and 41 seconds, and I gotta say, I was really pulling for Aaliyah to survive that match, and eventually she did. I was on her side the entire time. Like, come on, Aaliyah, survive. Because in my personal opinion, I thought that they were going to use that as to just treat Aaliyah like a jobber, just like they treated Shotzi a bit like a jobber tonight. But Aaliyah did not quit. She lasted. And with that being said, I have a newfound respect for her for lasting and going the distance. And she was in the figure 8 for 10 seconds. And not only did she not say I quit, but she tapped out when the clock hit 0. So she has earned my respect after that. So, what do you think about tonight's broadcast and this review? Let me know in the comment section below. I'm your host, Daniel Cody. That's all the time I have for you today. And I'll see you Monday, May 2nd, for a review on my top 10 favorite matches from the People's Champ, The Rock. If you smell what The Rock is cooking. See you next time.